Williams rescued wounded teammates from a mountain while under very heavy enemy fire. We will take you there live to the White House when that happens. In the meantime, Democrats are moving forward with new rules for their impeachment inquiry. A full House vote is expected tomorrow. That is happening as top Republican lawmakers attack how Democrats want to move forward and how Chairman Adam Schiff is running the investigation.
They admit the process is a sham, and they're actually changing the process for the worst. They're making Adam Schiff now the prosecutor, the judge, and the jury. And they're denying more Republicans in the room, and those who are in the room only allowing one to ask a question.
To interrupt us continually, to coach the witness, to decide whether or not what we're going to be able to ask the witness. I mean, we don't even get any witnesses at this point.
And President Trump launching a new phase in his efforts to fight back against impeachment. He says unified Republicans are now attacking the substance of the allegations against him. And we have all of this happening today, partly, Katie, let me go to you first. The Republicans have pounded on process for a month. That's actually a long time to sustain an argument, and now the Democrats are changing. Do you think the Republicans will be able to continue fighting on process?
I think so, just based on the idea that this doesn't actually fall into the real impeachment category. Once again, it's a step forward. They're trying to open up some of these hearings for the American people to watch and see. So I think all of us will be happy to watch some of this ourselves rather than hearing from Adam Schiff or even Republicans regurgitating what they think happened inside these hearings. But if they had the votes to do a real impeachment inquiry and they thought it was good politically, they would do it. But they don't have the votes. And polls now, when they're asked with nuanced language and questions, show that the majority of Americans, including independents and districts that Nancy Pelosi wants to keep in 2020 in the House, aren't in favor of this. And so I think they're moving the process. They've set up this list of rules. The impeachment document they released yesterday simply lays out how it's going to run, but it actually doesn't mean much in terms of changing the game here for the White House. Now, the White House is preparing. They're hiring new lawyers. They're hiring new communications staff to try and get ahead of this. But in terms of the actual process of how this is going to work,
because it's not going away, so they have to do that. I want to play this roundup of media talking about the damning testimony. If you could play that.
Bombshell impeachment testimony.
One of the most damning witnesses yet.
Tuesday's explosive testimony.
Bombshell testimony tonight.
Damning testimony on Capitol Hill.
Some fairly explosive news.
How damning the testimony may be.
After that explosive testimony.
It's very damning to the president.
His bombshell testimony before Congress.
Creating this damning portrait for the president.
Jesse, I said that Republicans had pounded on process for a month, but the Democrats, like every day, they have somebody else out there with damning testimony.
Well, if it's this big bombshell, we should be able to see the explosion. But we can't see even like a little glimmer of explosion because it's all being done in the dark. And the Republicans are right to pound this deal on process because it's corrupt, it's crooked, and it's shady. And it's being run by Adam Schiff, the chief architect of the Russia hoax, who's already been caught witness tampering, and now he's witness coaching. And he's trying to find naked pictures of Trump. What a sicko. So he's already been slapped with an ethics complaint today. That guy's a joke. And that's why they're ripping it away from Schiff and giving it to little Jerry Nadler instead to handle. But I think he's got a good argument on the substance, too. I mean, I've raised the treaty up here a lot of times. You can ask Ukraine about corruption all you want, and Joe Biden is not above the law. Katie cited some great polls, and I have them right here because I know Juan loves to talk about polls. This is a CNN report. Impeachment isn't popular in Wisconsin and these 5 other key swing states. I don't need to read it, but it's all right here. And I have another poll here that says 59% don't want the president impeached. Only 36% do. That's Suffolk University, USA Today. And 38% say the phone call was impeachable. 51% say it's not an impeachable offense. I rest my
what do you think about
case.
That poll case he just made?
I think it's bogus. I mean, clearly,
the
national poll.
Don't run down the pollsters.
The national polls are consistent in terms of the increase in support for impeachment and in some cases for removal. So you can focus on a few districts here or there. The national story is pretty clear. But I'm just going to say this. I think Trump and his folks, to pick up on what Dana was saying, have been arguing process for weeks, even to the point of attacking Lieutenant Colonel Vindman and defaming him, and I think it's a way that's so unpatriotic. But the reason they were arguing process is because the facts are not on their side. Now, the process is in the Constitution. Pelosi The Speaker of the House has followed the Constitution to the letter. And now they're moving to an open phase, which is what the president and his supporters have asked for. And they're still saying, oh, that's not good enough. We don't like the open phase. But here's the thing. The Republicans are trying to work you, the American people, and say, oh, don't buy it, don't buy it. But again, these polls are very clear. People say they want to understand the facts of the case.
I got to play this for Greg.
Even, let me just add this. The transcript that Trump said, oh, it's perfect phone call. Yeah. Now we know from Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, it wasn't even the full transcript.
We knew that.
Right,
really?
We knew that.
We knew that.
I had to play this for you because
please
this is
do.
not about polls. It is about facts.
Oh, I love facts.
Okay, listen to this from Tom Brokaw.
But they still don't have what you would call the goods on this president in terms of breaking the law and being an impeachable target for them. They're going to start the process, but they don't have the same kind of clarity that the people who are opposed to Richard Nixon had.
All right, what do you think of that?
I think a lot of that,
okay.
Dana. Look. What the Dems are doing is they're creating a train of opinions that are all about the one thing, the transcript. So they just find another guy to say, yeah, you know what, I was concerned too. So it's a train of concern, but a concern is not the same as something that happens. This is the story of the Democrats. They're concerned about many things that never happen. Trump's instability, Trump's insane, Trump's a bigot, the stock market's gonna crash. Every time they're worried about something, be confident it's never gonna happen. I wonder if there's a causal link between the lackluster presidential campaigns of the Democrats and the impeachment hysteria. Could it be that the impeachment hysteria is draining their party of all of their intellectual energy? I don't think the Dems can walk and chew gum at the same time. In an effort to undo a previous election, they're going to lose the next election because they can't concentrate. You know, they're like a coworker, right, who does everything possible to get out of the job that they're doing, that they end up actually doing more work to get out of the work.
They're causing more work.
They're causing more work for themselves. And so so right now, we predicted this. Americans are kind of figuring this out. Yeah. They know this is a snow job. They know it's out of proportion to what happened. And I know, and people make a big deal about defaming Vindman, but a lot of the same people were saying the same thing about Tulsi just 2 weeks ago at this table, Juan.
Yeah, and I was
you called her a Russian asset.
You called her a Russian asset. I think Hillary Clinton called her a Russian asset, and I wrote, by the way, that she is a Russian asset.
There you go. How you're anti-patriotic. You are so not patriotic, Juan.
No, Greg, but you're making a point, Greg, that I think is so wildly wrong. It's President Trump who is trying to rally Republicans and say, hey, the cult has got to stand behind me, do everything, go after Vindman, go after the process.
Yes. Calling supporters a cult reflects badly on you, Juan,
not
on them.
Yeah.
Calling people a cult does not persuade anybody. It doesn't persuade me. I laugh at it.
It's all about Trump
and say
back Trump. Don't even back the Republican Party, just back Trump.
Call people a cult. You don't influence anybody.
You think this is not just about backing Trump? I think the Republican Party is in a different place.
You can't crack the base, Juan. And
that's it. Here we go.
You can't crack it.
To your point, Greg.
No, you can't.
They're on crack.
There you go.
Katie, two things. We have heard that the White House event is going to happen in just a minute or so we're going to keep talking here. One thing I think this does, incumbency there's a lot of benefits to it, right? So you can set up a contrast. So now you have the president. He's going to be in the East Room of the White House. He's doing a Medal of Honor ceremony. He is going to be able to talk about the fact that the Pentagon is set to release, we just got this breaking news, some video of the raid. So there's that. So you can show and you can tell people all the things that you're doing. When the contrast is on the Hill, you have impeachment every day. This is the video, Katie. You can see the Pentagon just released this. Everybody, this happened on late Saturday night. This is the compound where Baghdadi was being held, or was holed up, excuse me. You can see our special forces there down at the bottom. You can see that. It's very unusual for the Pentagon to release this type of video, but they must have had, Katie, they must have believed that they had all the intelligence that they needed cleared out of the way so that they could release it and show people what happened.
Yeah, that's where al-Baghdadi ran into a hole and decided to be a coward and not fight back, and I'm glad that he's gone, and the president deserves credit for that, absolutely. And you're 100% right that this does set up a contrast. But the White House can argue that they are focused on serious things like defending the country from ISIS, defending the national security of the country, and trying to push forward things on Capitol Hill. I was on Capitol Hill yesterday, and there are a number of House Democrats in places like Iowa who are getting pushed on issues like UMCA.
I'm going to have to interrupt you there because we're going to be able to take a break. We're going to be right back with the president in the East Room. We'll be right back.